Hello, critics, non-critics, and friends. Welcome to the Film Optix podcast, where we take a glance into comic book movies, blockbusters, indie films, and everything in between. I'm your host, Christian, and I'm joined, as always, by my co-host, Devin. And today we are taking a trip to visit Nick Cage, because we're going to be talking about the unbearable weight of massive talent, the latest, one of the newest comedies hitting theaters of 2022. Devin, are you ready? How have you been, my guy? You've been taking some acting lessons.
Oh yeah, I've got my little Nicky version of myself, just like Nick Cage has, just hanging out, always leading me the wrong direction. You know, it's interesting. I think the worst part about this movie is the title. It's like a really bad title. And I was watching basketball last night, and there was a commercial for this movie, and they like changed the title. They just said it was called Massive Talent.
Oh, you know what? They might be pulling a Birds of Prey type situation.
They really should, because I mean, Massive Talent. That's fine. It's a good title. Like that gets the job done. It describes what the movie kind of centers around, and
yeah,
you just don't need those first 4 or 5 words. Yeah, I was watching the commercial and I was like, yeah, go see Nicolas Cage in Massive Talent.
Massive Talent.
Oh, that's much better.
I like that a lot better as well. I'm even looking on Rotten Tomatoes right now. It is still showing the unbearable weight of massive talent. So that's pretty interesting. I do like, just massive talent. It's cleaner. It really is.
Just, I will never remember this title.
No.
Just like I don't remember the original Birds of Prey title.
It was the Unfabulous Emancipation of One Harley Quinn. I can't remember.
Yeah.
It's something like that. It was, but this is way shorter than that, obviously, for Birds of Prey, but I'm really glad they changed the Birds of Prey. But they still run into the issue with the Birds of Prey because Harley isn't. The Birds of Prey really don't show up until like super later on in the movie. Spoilers. But yeah, I do agree. This could definitely use the same treatment. But before we begin today's episode, for everyone out there, you can listen to our podcast on podcast platforms around the internet. If you are a new or seasoned listener to the show, we would love to hear from you guys. Follow us on Instagram and follow us on Twitter at Film Optix. That is Optix with an X. Or you can email us at filmoptix@gmail.com for any movie related questions. Devin, we've been on a roll. We did our Moon Knight review. We did Hunger Games Part 2, which should be out by the time this episode airs. And now we're covering the unbearable weight of massive talent. We're just going to call it Massive Talent.
Yes, please. It's so much better.
But here's the thing though. Do we put that in the episode description? Do we just put Massive Talent, or do we put...
Do we will it into existence?
We have to will it into existence. I think they will, especially when the Blu-ray comes out.
Even looking at the poster, Massive Talent's like big, bold, and blue. That's the only part you can really see.
Right. Yeah. It's a very strange one for sure. But either way, it doesn't change anything about this movie, because I will say, before we get into our coverage here, it is the best comedy of the year. Like, this blows a lot of things out of the water that we've seen this year. And I did not, for one, expect much going into this at all. And I came out absolutely loving it. Like, it is a bromance comedy that we never had with Venom or Venom 2 or just any other bromance. Cause I guess
it comes down to whether you consider Everything Everywhere All at Once a comedy.
That's true. I feel like it's still in the same realm. Like, I feel like, Rotten Tomatoes right now is showing the unbearable, it's showing Massive Talent as an action/comedy. And I feel like
that's the same thing as Everything
Everywhere All at Once. Yeah. But I feel like Everything Everywhere All at Once has more of a serious tone to it, which kind of throws in the drama part as well. I mean, this is drama. Everything's drama, but there's drama everywhere you go. But we're gonna create a movie for adults, an adult drama, as this movie has told us. But
yeah, I don't think Nick Cage will be in the MCU anytime soon.
I don't think he will either. And it's so funny because I haven't seen a Nick Cage movie in ages. Like, I can't remember the last thing he was actually in. that I watched, but I love it.
He's been doing just a bunch of like B-list, like unknown roles. He was in Pig most recently, which actually was pretty good.
Did you? Oh, you watched that one?
Yeah, it's on Hulu. But other than that, he's just kind of been doing like desperate actor roles, like Bruce Willis was doing.
Is Pig A24? I don't know if it is or not.
Definitely.
Either way, I'm very, very excited to get into this this episode here today. It blew me out of the water. I have a bit of a horror story behind this as well, but we'll get into that here. But were you able to find out? I don't know if Pig is A24. I don't think it is. I could be wrong though.
I don't know where to find the production company.
I'm not sure either. But Devin, are you ready to get into our coverage of Massive Talent?
Pig was Neon.
Neon. Okay. So it's a smaller indie film. Neon's really good as well. But Devin, are you ready to get into the unbearable weight of Massive Talent? Our review, our coverage, our analysis.
Oh yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back after this introduction to the unbearable weight of Massive Talent.
We got another offer. It's $1 million. It's to attend a wealthy gentleman's birthday party.
I would never do that.
It's the easiest gig ever. You play yourself.
What do we know about this guy anyway? Is he into something strange?
It's not like he's gonna want you to suck his dick or fuck his wife or watch him fuck his wife.
I wouldn't think so.
Welcome to Mallorca, Mr. Cage.
The guy that owns this house, what's his name?
Javi.
Is Javi gonna want me to,
I am Javi.
Nick Cage.
And we are back with our review of the unbearable weight of Massive Talent, aka Massive Talent. So we're just going to call it Massive Talent from here on out because it's cleaner, it's shorter, and it's easier to say. But the synopsis is as follows for this film. A cash-strapped Nicolas Cage agrees to make a paid appearance at a billionaire's superfan's birthday party, but is really an informant for the CIA since the billionaire fan is a drug kingpin and gets cast in a Tarantino movie.
I think that is incorrect.
I think that is incorrect as well. I pulled this.
There's nothing Tarantino in this. He's not ever mentioned that I remember.
No, I don't think there is. I pulled this straight from IMDb, so I mean they haven't steered me wrong before. I mean I usually.
And he also wasn't a CIA informant before he got there.
No, he was not. So maybe IMDb needs.
Someone got this wrong.
Someone got this wrong. Let's see what Rotten Tomatoes had. Well, theirs is super long. And that's usually why I go IMDb because they have a more clear, concise synopsis for that. But it looks like Rotten Tomatoes has it right. But yeah, this is not a Tarantino movie. And I was like, when I was typing that out, copying and pasting over, I was like, there wasn't any mention about Quentin Tarantino in this film. What are we talking about here? But I digress. The director of this film is Tom Gormican, and writers include Tom Gormican and Kevin Etten as well, and stars Nick Cage, Pedro Pascal, Demi Moore, and so much more. There is a lot of talent in this
Neil
movie.
Patrick Harris, Tiffany Haddish,
Yeah.
like Baron Holtz.
It's I like I said, Devin, I didn't expect it wasn't that I was expecting this to be bad or anything. I was just like, it looked interesting, but I just didn't know what to expect, even from watching the trailers.
I was definitely intrigued by the trailers because the wall joke is pretty good. And even seeing it again, it's even better in the actual movie.
See, I only watched the trailer once and I didn't pay any attention to it. It might have been playing a few times when I went to go see other films earlier this year, but I will say, and we'll talk about that scene, but we're going to get into our initial reactions here. For anyone here who is new, we usually get into our initial reactions, which is our non-spoiler section. Then we get into our spoiler section for you guys, and you'll hear this nice little bad boy once we get into spoilers. And then we'll get into Easter eggs, final thoughts, and close out with our rating. So I'm going to pass the mic over to Devin so he can give his initial reactions to Massive Talent.
Yeah, going in, I was definitely intrigued, but I just didn't know what to expect because I guess I have an on and off relationship with Nicolas Cage. Like
I think
just
we
like
all do.
everyone I feel like has that. The classic community bit where is he good? Is he not? Who knows? Obviously, everyone loved National Treasure. That's kind of our generation. That's what we grew. That's Nick Cage we grew up on. I like how they joked about Croods too in this one. Overall, I'd say I enjoyed Nick Cage more often than not. I've never been like disheartened to see him in a movie. I've never been disappointed when he's in a movie. He seems to definitely elevate it. He's always a scene stealer. This is what he's known for. But that's why I think the only reason this movie works is because of Pedro Pascal, because he is just the perfect partner for Cage, because he is also just a scene stealer throughout the whole movie, because he's just the perfect little shy billionaire who's just a fan of Nick Cage. He's just the perfect little buddy. Like, you just want to have a beer with him. You want to have a nice shot of tequila with him and just hang out, because he's Pedro Pascal. He's just a cool guy. You can just tell how unique and just normal of a guy he is, even just how he interacts in real life and how he is in this movie, because he plays off Nicolas Cage so perfectly. They're the perfect buddy duo, because you would never expect them to actually be friends, and then you see them actually form a friendship, and then they kind of have their bumpy road, like every buddy cop movie, and then they get back together in the end, and it's just a nice happy ending. And I thought it was very, very funny throughout. They showed a fair amount of the jokes in the trailer, but there was definitely a lot more that they didn't show, which is good. And like I mentioned, even the jokes they did show in the trailer, they worked even better in the movie, just because you get an extended view of it, and you get to hear more of the joke than the trailer showed, which was great. Especially that wall one. That one really, really worked. Just anything where Nicolas Cage is just screaming or yelling, it's just automatically entertaining. And there's a lot of that here.
For sure. It's so, for the longest time, everyone was like, oh, yell acting will get you all like the nominations, for for Hollywood and whatnot. But I'm definitely piggybacking off Devin here. Like Devin said, we since we did grow up in that National Treasure era, like we know Nick Cage, and we also know him from Ghost Rider as well. And there's a lot of culmination of his past, his filmography.
I wonder if that had anything to do with that MCU joke they put in here.
See, I'm not entirely sure I can't remember if we got that part or not, because here's actually my horror story before I get into my initial reaction. So it's been raining here a lot, and we had a pretty bad tornado watch last night, and the movie cut out for about a good 10 minutes in the theater. My house was packed. Since we did technically see this the day before Thursday, so on a Wednesday viewing before it actually hits the masses. But yeah, we lost about like maybe 10, maybe 12 minutes of what was happening. I never got to find out what their favorite movies were of all time.
Well, that's where the first Paddington 2 joke comes into play.
See, I got the second Paddington 2 joke towards the end, but I
got the payoff and the callback.
Yeah, so that was like my little bit of a horror story there, but we all stayed. They got it back up and running. It's just it was raining pretty bad last night, and it was thunderstorming and what have you. But overall, like Devin said, Nick Cage has just always been that. Like you said, like is he the good actor? Is he a good actor? Is he not necessarily trash, or is just But it's kind of like, is he a movie star or is he an actor? Because those are like, I feel like two totally different things. But I mean, I do agree with Devin there. I mean, Pedro Pascal, the relationship between Nick Cage and Pedro Pascal is something that it works so well. It feels like they've been friends forever. They play off each other so well. As Devin mentioned earlier, their chemistry is like really, really unmatched. And it's been a while since we've had like a bromance kind of comedy like this. Honestly, I haven't seen something like this since probably 21 Jump Street or even Superbad. Just to kind of like name a few out there, but I didn't expect this movie to like really wow me, but like I really did enjoy it. Like, I think it's a great comedy. I mean, and the plot itself the plot is so silly, but it works. And then, once we get closer towards the end of the movie, you kind of figure out what's going on, but it really is like this. It's so self-aware. It's like, hey, like, what has Nick Cage been up to? I mean, outside of Pig, I still haven't seen it.
It was kind of giving me like kind of like Austin Powers vibes.
Yeah.
Just kind of giving me that feeling back in the day where it doesn't take itself seriously. It knows exactly what it is. It's very self-aware, very referential.
Extremely.
Just kind of, and then you get some Nick Cage in disguises, which is very funny to see.
I absolutely love just any obvious in Tiffany Haddish being in this. I'm not a big fan of hers, but I think she does a really good, a decent enough job. It's just, you know, when it comes to like the CIA work, I was like, okay, like, is anyone really believing this? But it you know, at the end of the day, it's all about the relationship that Pedro Pascal, who plays Javi, and Nick Cage playing himself really have. And, you know, everything that's happening with like Nick Cage's daughter and his mother, you know, he's getting divorced. He's trying to connect with his daughter, you know, on her as she's turning 16 in this film. And it just kind of,
that scene where he's at her birthday party, he's singing a song at the piano, so you just cringe. You're like, oh,
very cringe. I absolutely love it though, because I mean it does tell a nice story between, you know, a broken family trying to make things work, but you know, things no matter the effort, it really doesn't it doesn't go the way that you would think it would. And that's it's kind of just like the run in the middle of it all. But also with Lily Sheen, who plays Nick Cage's daughter in this movie, I thought she did a pretty decent job, you know, for being a 16-year-old in this movie. You know, there's only really so much you can do. Like his family's kind of pushed aside for a bit, and then they kind of like come in towards like halfway through the movie and things happen. But I really actually like the chemistry as well between Nick Cage and Sharon Horgan. I thought she was pretty hysterical there with
Irish.
I know.
Was it Irish or Scottish?
Well, it looks like her birthplace is Hackney, London. It says on Rotten Tomatoes, but I think she was playing in a different part of the UK, either Irish or Scottish, because you can kind of you could kind of tell, or like I was like, okay, like it's not exactly British, but I mean it could be Wales. I'm not entirely sure, but I would have to watch it again because I'm not sure if they actually mentioned where she's actually from in the film in itself. But that's just my thoughts and opinions of my initial reactions. I really did enjoy it. I kind of want to go back and watch it because I mean I did miss like 10 to 12 minutes of it again there. But Devin, are you ready to get into spoilers? Because I feel like we are heading towards that point. We're driving down the freeway. You know, we're going to go see the clips.
The unbearable weight of movie spoilers.
The unbearable weight of movie spoilers. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is your first spoiler warning for Massive Talent again. That is your second spoiler warning for Massive Talent. So if you haven't seen it yet this weekend, you should go watch it. It's a lot of fun.
Well, it comes out the 22nd.
22nd. Oh, so we saw this super early.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, I do apologize, everyone out there. I thought this was coming out this coming up weekend on the 14th. So, well, I guess that's Harry Potter weekend now, isn't it? And something else is coming out. Father Stew. I mean,
oh yeah.
we can all use a little Mark
Maybe
Wahlberg.
if Nick Cage was in it.
Honestly, if this was like that, oh my gosh, that would be hilarious. But yeah, I've heard mixed things about Father Stew. It is not looking too well. Not looking too well on the critic side, but audience seems to love it. It seems like one of those feel-good movies. I might go check it out, only because one of my friends' nicknames here in town is Stew, and it's spelled STU. So I might check that out. But Devin, let's get into our spoiler section here of Massive Talent. Now, there's not too much to spoil in and of itself.
It starts off very dark, surprisingly, like a very, very dark opening scene where you get this girl and her boyfriend watching a Nick Cage movie and loving it, and then they get just assaulted and kidnapped like right away.
Yeah, I will say that like it kind of hit me out of nowhere.
It was kind of jarring.
It's jarring. It kind of set like the tone for mystery. You don't really know what's going on. And I will say that like throughout the movie, I thought it was paced like very, very well. Like they didn't waste a lot of time around certain scenes. And it just, I feel like it was over as quickly as it began. Like I just kind of it was wow. The whole, it's very self-aware with, we're making a movie about Nick Cage and all this movieception or cineception, I guess you could say. But I got to ask really quick, what was when Javi asked Nick Cage what his favorite movies were of all time, did he mention that? Because that's the part where our theater cut out.
I don't think Nick Cage ever gave his answers, but Javi answered with Face Off #1, of course, Nick Cage. And then #2, he mentioned that weird German movie that Nick Cage talked about earlier with his daughter.
Yeah, the one that his daughter
said that was #2, and then 3, Paddington 2. And then they watched it together, and they were both crying. I have not seen either Paddingtons, but I think I have to now.
I mean, hey man, we could do a short little movie series on Paddington 1 and 2. I am sure that will go over well, 100%. I mean, I'm always
down how amazing they are, but I've just never seen them.
I mean, Paddington 2 was like reigning king there for about a week and a half as like the #1 rated movie on Rotten Tomatoes, because they found this super old negative review about Citizen Kane and it bumped the score down. Yeah. I mean, and then there's the meme where Paddington 2 is like next to the graveyard and he's doing the peace sign with Citizen Kane.
I'm fine with that, with Paddington being on top. Who wants to watch Citizen Kane?
Have you seen Citizen Kane?
Honest. No,
it is.
I don't want to.
I only watched it so I can get more context when I watched Mank. I think it was like about a year, 2 years ago. It was not for me. I love Gary Oldman and Mank, but those movies were not for me. I mean, I appreciate the significance that Citizen Kane brought to filmmaking, but it ain't for me. It ain't for me at all.
Now that I'm thinking about it, I wonder if the synopsis from IMDb is like an old one and it was supposed to be Tarantino that he meets with at the beginning, but instead he met with David Gordon Green.
You know what? That would be very interesting. I don't know. Yeah, because I mean, on Rotten Tomatoes, as of right now, it says Nick Cage stars as Nick Cage in action comedy, The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, creatively and unfulfilled, facing financial ruin and fictionalized version of Cage must accept a $1 million offer to attend a birthday party to a dangerous superfan. Pedro Pascal takes things wildly unexpected turn when Cage is recruited by a CIA operative, Tiffany Haddish, yada yada yada. So yeah, it looks like Rotten Tomatoes has the correct synopsis. It is it's more of a paragraph for the movie info. That's usually how it is on Rotten Tomatoes. But yeah, I wonder. I mean, I would love to see if are there any trivia about The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, or is it more so, see, I don't even know if anything's real in there right now because it's
let's take a look.
At the
end of filming, the whole cast was get to the pillow with Nicolas Cage's face on it.
Can we talk about that scene? Because that was hilarious, where Nick is actually looking for the missing girl. And then, they're tripping on acid. And that wall scene was hilarious. I absolutely loved it. I love it when Nick Cage walks into, it's kind of like a mirrored room, and he's like, I need to know what's in there, Javi. And he's like, are you sure you want to know what's in there?
Here it is. The original script had a plot point involving Nick Cage chasing down Quentin Tarantino to earn a role in his next movie, but was changed to another scene featuring cameo from director David Gordon Green.
Okay. That makes a lot more sense. We solved the mystery, Devin. Look at us. We're two detectives on the case.
Lionsgate outpaid HBO Max and Paramount for the movie rights.
Oh, did they really? Wow. So when we were talking about Lionsgate for Hunger Games for Mockingjay Part 2, did we ever see like this Lionsgate? Are they their own?
I think it's Disney/Hulu gets the movie streaming rights.
Okay. Well, yeah, I wasn't sure if it like Lionsgate was underneath Disney or something else. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised, but I wasn't sure if they were like their own standalone AAA studio. I mean, Lionsgate makes a lot as well, but yeah, I wonder. Wow. So Lionsgate beat out HBO Max, and what was the other one?
Paramount.
I could have seen this being on HBO Max, but I'm glad this came out in theaters. I'm glad this is actually getting a theatrical release. So
in real life, Nicolas Cage has 2 sons, not a daughter. His sons' names are Weston and Kal-El, aka Superman.
Is it really Kal-El?
That's what it says.
Is it spelled the way that Superman would spell it, or is it spelled
Kal--El?
Oh no. Wow. Oh no. Well, okay, Nick Cage did technically.
He really loves Superman. The live action one never got released.
The live act, you saw the picture of him with like the super long hair.
Yeah.
Well, he played in technically he did play, in the that Teen Titans Go movie. So that's interesting. But I guess, Devin, what is your favorite Nick Cage movie, since we're on this Nick Cage kick here?
I don't know, like I mentioned, we grew up on National Treasure. That's kind of the main one for us. I never really went back and do like a lot of his 90s roles.
No, I never did either. For me, it would probably be National Treasure, and then I guess Ghost Rider would be like the second one. I don't remember too much from Ghost Rider. I remember more from National Treasure. I believe they're coming out with the National Treasure 3, and I know a lot of people are super excited. So I'm sure we'll be seeing Nick Cage. I
don't think he's involved, though. I think that's why people are not excited.
Oh, really? I did not know that. That's very
actually. I think it's going to be just a show on Disney Plus.
A Disney Plus show. Okay, kind of like the Percy Jackson thing that they're doing. Interesting. Okay, I mean it is what it is, but I mean I'm still glad that we at least got this movie. He was also in Kick-Ass. That's another good one. He was Big Daddy. Yeah, Big Daddy with yeah. I remember that. My God, I haven't seen that movie in forever, and I have it. I kind of want to watch. See, now I want to go back and watch all these Nick Cage movies.
obviously, The Wicker Man. It's a classic Nick Cage.
Oh
The
yeah,
Bees.
That's
The Bees.
The Bees. That's right, man. The Wicker Man. Oh my gosh, that's insane. Wow. Okay, so yeah, that's. I guess that's our trivia section here on the show for today. Just can't get enough of Nick Cage, and it's always great. But we got to talk about this wall scene, because I was dying laughing where they're tripping on acid and just.
Oh yeah, just that whole scene where they see the 2 weird looking guys on the bench, and then they see them again later. That cracked me up.
Oh my gosh, that was everything. And I love it how I can't even talk about it too much. I'll just start gushing about it. But Devin, was there anything else you wanted to mention before we wrap up here and give our ratings and final thoughts?
What did you think of Nicky, his little alter ego?
Oh yeah, the biker type. Yeah, where he's like, I'm Nick. Wow, freaking Cage. That was wow. That was unexpected. And I was trying to think, I'm like, is that like from one of his other roles that I haven't seen?
It's just a younger version of himself.
Okay. That makes, he gives himself a smooch. I'm like,
yeah, Nick Cage smooch is good.
That was, but I liked how he kind of had like an inner voice there. But what did you think of Tiffany? What did you think of like Tiffany Haddish and Ike's performance? I thought they were both fine.
They were fine, just very minor characters.
Yeah, because that was the only thing of the CIA thing. I was like,
they kind of just get forgotten about in the end. They kind of just, are they dead? Are they alive? Who knows?
They're a bit hokey, but it's like I wasn't really buying it, because you get the twist that that Pedro's cousin is actually the head of the crime organization, but Pedro is more of just the figurehead. But of course, with that smile, honestly, with Pedro's, with his performance in this, it really just makes me more excited for the Last of Us HBO series, because obviously, a lot of people know him from The Mandalorian, and, life can be good. Life is good, but it can be better. From Wonder Woman 84, that one's not talked about too much. But he has a really, really great track record, and it just gets me super, super excited for everything. I mean, if Beale Street Could Talk, I almost forgot that he was in that movie as well. And I mean, Prospect, Equalizer 2, Kingsman. I forgot he was in Kingsman as well. You know, I think we need and technically he was in Book of Boba Fett, but stealing the show there. Oh, I didn't know he was in Bubble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's in there. There's a lot of people in there.
There's a lot of people. Okay. See, I would, I would love to see like a movie like this with Pedro Pascal, but I feel for some reason this just works with Nick Cage. Because it's like, he's not a bad actor by any means. He has a lot of great movies.
He's great at playing himself, obviously.
Yeah. It's just, I don't know. It's like, wow, a movie about Nick Cage. And it's like, okay, like let's just go with it and see, see where
this is his first leading role since Ghost Rider 2.
Oh, that's right. He did make a Ghost Rider 2. I totally forgot about that. Man, I mean, I guess for good reason, right? His first,
so he went 10 years without a leading role.
So he wasn't the leading role in Pig?
I mean, I guess it was like a co-lead. It was him and Alex Wolff.
Okay, so kind of like a titular role type situation. I got you. Interesting. All right, so let's get into our final thoughts and our ratings. For me, as of right now, it's actually sitting at 100%. Critics wise, of course, since this isn't coming out till the weekend of the 22nd, you said, I believe, of April.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, we are actually reviewing the super real. I did not realize that at all. I'm like, yeah, got
it out of the way.
that too. I'm like, I can just go see it tomorrow. I'm like, well, I got to go see Dumbledore, So for me, I'm going to give this like a solid 85. I would probably give this like a solid, but I guess that equates to like maybe 3.5 stars, or you know what? I'll go 4 out of 5 stars for this because it's just, I love this platonic relationship between Javi and Nick Cage. You can really see
just the LSD scene alone.
That was
all you need to see.
Really,
when he starts laughing at the guys on the bench.
It's so, like you said, it's very self-aware, and I just had to really.
And then when Nick Cage is dressed up as the Italian like mob boss at the end.
Oh yeah,
that was great.
That was great. That was really, really great. And of course, the Paddington 2 jokes are. I mean, honestly, if you want to do a short little movie series of Paddington 1 and 2, I'm definitely down.
I have to.
We have to now. So yeah, I want to see this again because when Nick's daughter, he's trying to like force all these movie choices on his daughter, and he's like, oh, like towards the end of the movie, like, oh, like what do you want to watch? He's like, no, it's stupid. And then it's like, have you seen Paddington 2? Everyone's
that's a callback to the original joke.
Yeah. I did not realize. So I'm definitely gonna have to watch this again. But yeah, solid 4 out of 5 stars from me. What about you, Devin?
Yeah, I'm going just somewhere right around there, like a 83, just super, super solid. I think the biggest negative is the title, to be honest.
For sure. I mean, a few characters get here and there, pushed away from the wayside.
Yeah,
but
the CIA part is a bit much. Like, it's just kind of thrown in there just to kind of keep things interesting, and it doesn't really work that well. But
I would definitely, I would agree there. And it's all right. But overall, a great movie. I think everyone should go see for sure. I believe that concludes our review, our analysis of Massive Talent, aka the unbearable weight of Massive Talent. So
just call it Massive Talent, Lionsgate. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, hey, if you guys are looking for some, we can be some nice little campaign managers for next year's Oscar season.
They'd also just call it the Nick Cage movie.
The Nick Cage. Just call it Nicolas Cage.
The Nick Cage experience.
The Cage experience. The Cage experience. The Nick
Uncaged.
Uncaged. I like that. I like that a lot. You know what? That would actually be a pretty awesome. That would be an awesome name for this. Uncaged. I love it. I love it. So, ladies and gentlemen, what's coming up on the show, you might ask? Well, as of right now, We have our Moon Knight episode 1 through 3 review that is out now, as well as our Everything Everywhere All at Once review, and our Sonic the Hedgehog 2 review, alongside our Morbius review that is out on
a lot of good movies coming out recently, except for Morbius.
Yeah.
A lot of good.
A lot of good and a lot of so-so. We got the Northman coming up as well.
I'm seeing really, really good reviews for that one, so I'm looking forward to it, actually.
Oh, I am too. I will kill you. I will avenge you, father. I will save you, mother. I will kill you, father. I was like, oh, okay, that's like a Scandinavian, like lying, like Hamlet story. I feel like it bleeds everything. It's like, I'll kill you, uncle. I was like, oh, okay, this is like Scandinavian. I think it's either Vikings or Scandinavian type Hamlet.
That's a movie Jared has to see to give us all the historical information.
Yeah. You know what? We'll bring him on to the show, and just let him give a brief history lesson to all of our listeners out there. But by the time this is out, we also have our Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 2 review will be out in about for everyone out there. We just closed out on that series, so not sure what series we're going to do next. I have a few that I was thinking on, more so on the shorter side. I was thinking about doing Star Wars, but it's just we would have to do that in sequels, like 100, like not sequels, excuse me, trilogies. Like, there's no way we can do all that at once. That would be insane. But I'm thinking I have a few more YA book adaptations that might perk some people's ears up for sure. But those are just a few things that are out as of right now on the podcast. We also have our Moon Knight episode 4 review that will be coming out here shortly, as long as our Northman review as well. So just follow us on Instagram and Twitter for a lot of movie updates, and we'll keep you guys posted. So one more thing before we go, I just want to ask you guys all to share an episode of our podcast with a friend, whether it be your mother, your brother, your lover, whoever it may be. Share an episode of the Film Optix podcast with a movie lover in need. So that's a wrap for today, everyone. Thank you all for listening. And if you enjoy the show, leave us a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And follow us on Instagram and Twitter to stay in the know. That was Devin. My name is Christian. We'll see you guys in the next Nick Cage experience.
Peace.
Uncaged.